question.
So, in recognition that we're living in the past, do we change our condition?
Well, through the grace of now, you can modify that, if you can. Through the grace of now, which is not your past and time, you can see. And now then is like evidence of the creative. Now it's creative then. When nowness is creative, then you can modify and change accordingly. You can make a future that is not reflecting the past. So I can play things I never heard before. People will tell me that. I've never heard anything like that before. In all my years of coming to jazz, I've never heard anything quite like that. It's not a compliment. It's just observation of fact. So I've never heard anything like that before. Which meant it's coming in now. That's all it was meaning. That I was open to the now to channel something or create, allow it to be played, something which is so true to the now. There was healing. There was actually healing. Because in the now, there's real healing. When you forget about all the suffering of your past, if relations could use this with a great degree of dignity and compassion, forget about the past, come together in the now, be forgiven, forgive it, let it go. Heal what you didn't know could be healed. Bring it together. And any kind of spiritual advice that would be worth its weight would be along those lines. And that's what I would call the indicative of the post-genius, radiance, which is not about culture. It just knows something that's transcendent to culture, that is true of our spirit, beyond cultures, beyond character, beyond appearance, our spirit, our inner reality, our essence, the heart essence of it, which is where the sound comes from here. Heart, fire, sound, heart essence.
So, by way of contrast to the living in the now, would you say that living in the past is not really living?
Well, living in the past is as good as it needs to be. See, it's just a phrase. Living in the past, living in old cultures. That's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that in itself. No one's saying that's bad or wrong, it's just the past, and that depends on how you determine it in terms of what you need to do. Then it becomes an issue whether or not that's in the way of what needs to be done. And that depends on your creative intelligence, your genius or not. To be or not to be. Genius beyond time, space, energy, matter. Spiritually open to recreate as needed. From zero. Not from a whole bunch of blah, 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 stuff, but from zero. Like the baby comes down, like from zero, right? Boom, it's here. A little conception, boom, it's zero, boom. Before you know it, it's here, it's gone already. It's gone. And as some theorists are saying relative to the universe, out of the void came the Big Bang, and boom, boom, out of the void, oh, great. Out of whose void? It's got to be who's somebody's void. It's not like no void. See, because the no void is Buddhist. So if you say there's no void, you're with the Buddhists. Right? There's no void. Right? And they'll tell you, well, there's a void because there's no void. Right? And you can't avoid it. You can't avoid the no void. In fact, there is no void. But you can't avoid that. And you can't avoid it, in a sense. Come in. Did that in any way answer your question?
Yes, I think it did. So it's always a focus on the now if we're to make any progress.
It depends on what the now is. As I said, the now can be anything and everything. Because the now includes anything and everything. How vast is that? The now is life and death. Time, space, energy, matter, all of it, the universe. Now is being. Being and being non-being, all together at once. Because it's like, poof.
Is the concept be here now useful?
Of course, it's basic. Your being That affirms your being. You have some being. Your breathing being, living being, if that much, huh? You're here, since you're here, no doubt about that. Right? And you feel it out. So everybody's always, everything is always being, you know. That's the basic.
So just as we can live in the past as opposed to the now, can we live in the not here as opposed to the
You're always
here?
living in the not here as much as the here, you just don't know it as such. See, there's no here. See, there's no here. Because the here is here, there's no here. See, remember the void? There's no void, right? Where it says being, then there's no being, right? You're getting closer to what it is. So there's a now because there's no now. In other words, it can't really be described beyond the point. There's nothing that equates with it in terms of a word. So the ancients had it correct when they said what it is beyond speech. No doubt about that. But we need speech to conventionally communicate with one another, otherwise who knows what they might be if there wasn't speech, conveying certain levels of reality that are absolutely, totally functional, for the sake of others.